But it's such a historic and story time in, not just, Black British history, but UK history generally. Like the onset of grime, like 2002 to about 2007, 8.
Yeah.
Like, what made it so special? As someone who was there on the ground, like, what made it so special?
It was accessible, and it was the actual culture. That's why people don't understand about it. Just if you see that now, where it's reduced to a tempo and a sound, it's not going to be the same. Whereas girls like grime, man, it was this word. All the words used, peng, leng, all these words are from that. Sket. All these words are from not sket, but like that's a Jamaican thing, sket. You know what I'm saying, but like all the words they use are from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was not just a rhythm. It was everyone is part of this thing. Obviously there was MCs and whatever. Sorry, it's killing me. I'm joking. There was culture, like everywhere you walked and thing. Like, and again, it wasn't just a one cruising. Because when you go north, you go Axe FM or wherever, it was a different set of stars. You go Birmingham, different set of people. South, bare South man there was bare South MCs. I didn't know any of them. When I talk to them now, when I talk to people now, like, oh yeah, man, RA was my favourite. That's who we liked. I'm like, well, but I didn't listen to RA. But that is the fact that's sick, that there were so many different bits that was just happening. Everyone had their own factions, Luton, Birmingham, all these places, like it was happening everywhere. Not just like, it was just youth culture. It weren't a thing where, it's 140 and it's this Esky sound or whatever. It was just, every youth was doing it. And every youth was part of it. Like I said, girls are part of it. Man, them were part of it. It was a thing. And it was our secret language. Like I said, my older cousins never listened to that. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, they will come from garage where they're wearing hard shoes and Machino and all that. We was in dusty tracksuits. And if you was Nang, you had a night tracksuit. That was you know what I mean? But it was accessible to all. Like if there's a set going on, like I said, youth clubs, got a pair of decks, 2 to 4 records, but be like 50 man just MCing, bro, for hours, for nothing. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there's levels, there's radio, there's bare stuff to it. It was important because it was actually culture. Whereas now, it's just a tempo and a bit, you know what I mean? And there's so many different factions. Like you can like drill, you can like DBE, you can like underground rap, you can like Sims, and you can like there's just different bits.
When did you start noticing the shift in the culture of grime?
The poorer I got.
Oh,
when I realised I never had no money from it, I said, okay, I get it. I'm joking. No, I'm joking.
Are you serious, man?
Yo, you know what I'm looking? I'm like,
I didn't know whether to laugh.
bro, I genuinely was there. I was like, I can't.
No, I tell you what. The shift was really is where they got Bush. When our big grime star just like obviously was getting signed because he was hot.
That was a dark time, man.
Yeah, and then we had to make
corny songs.
Bro, that was a dark time, man.
No, I was part of that. But yeah, I wasn't on a lot of them, but I was there.
No, we've spoken about this era a lot, and he always refers to it as a dark time.
That was a very dark time.
We lost all the things.
Yeah,
so
man.
now, obviously, as a man, but them time I think, we're getting money, it's sick. But now I realise if you've loved this thing, like I said, how I love this thing, and now your favourite artists are just doing these weird songs.
Absolutely, bro.
Even Roddy did as well?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, us too, like, yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
You lost us. This is air. And then road rap came, so that was more real. And if I'm being honest, road rap wasn't a good music, bro. But it was authentic and real.
You don't think it was good music?
Not all of it. The majority of it. Again, you can say that about any music, so let me not chat shit.
Yeah.
But I should say, where it was authentic and real, the youths went to that instead. That was a new youth culture. Again, it got a bit bait after how many years? And then it went to... then it was like, what was after road rap, man? I want to say drill. Well, I guess it was kind of drill.
It was kind of drill, yeah.
Because then it went to like Section Boys and then...
Yeah. So it was like rap, trap, drill.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? So it's whatever the youth culture's dealing with. They just want to have their own language, you know what I mean? That's why they don't understand this grime thing. That's why even if I show them Blade Brown and Dubs in that, they're going to be like, like, it's all mixed weird. It's got bombs on it. What is this? You know what I mean? Like, but that we obviously, we're over 30 here, or close.
Yeah.
We know, bruv, when like Hard Body was dropped and Dub Beats, like, that had the streets on lock. Like for a long time, same how Grime did. Like there was no way where you couldn't play Eskimo. That was a thing, or Pole Sex or whatever, any issues. But they use them obviously, like I said, if you spoke to like a 23-year-old, they'll tell you the start is like Harlem Spartans and Lowski, and that was a thing, Miz on Mac. That man there was like their start, and then which evolved into drill. Like, I need to start spitting, I'm so sorry. Can you catch it on the camera, please, Eddie? I'm joking, but yeah, there's a lot. Them time, everyone has their starts where it's where they're informative years, where I mean they love their thing. So yeah, it's just that. It just shifted when we started making rubbish music and not caring about the people that cared about us. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And was that like fully like driven by the fact that you lot weren't really making money from?
I'll be real, bro. I never made no P. I've only started making P in the last 2 months. You know what I'm saying? As you can tell by this jacket. But apart from that, I don't know what
he's wearing the Cortez Nikes
Yeah,
as
but
well.
Because I've always wondered, like, when like Wiley,
Zoom in, Drake. Zoom in.
when
when like Wiley and
Shout
that man
Clint.
started trying to like cross over, like, what was it? What was going on?
I
Why?
see, I can't tell you what. So okay, boom. I'll tell you what. See the Road Deep song, Good Times. Yeah, I always tell this story. Everyone
I
thinks.
actually like that song.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Did you like Greenlight though? Greenlight.
I didn't like Green Light.
I mean,
backwards.
I
But it's mine,
Green
it's
Light.
mine. But so Good Times, for example, yeah. Okay, let me say where my Rolex. I was around Wiley a lot them time there. Where my Rolex was just made. Like he didn't get signed, and he made it. But see, something like Wiley. If I use Wiley for example, that's the only person I know like closely that done that. Is he loves music. So man's doing everything. Do you know what I mean? And that song, he just made it and it blew up. Same with Good Times. That he just went to Manchester one day and came back with this song. And I remember it had Wiley, a girl called Jodie Connor, and a producer called Darwood. And they had Little D on it. They just made it in Manchester separately. They weren't signed. I think they just made a song. And then they came back and then they put Roll Deep on it. And then it became that. And then Danny Weed made Greenlight, which became that as well. And then after that, it was, you man are signed, make more like that.
Yeah.
That's where it went wrong.
Okay.
Because it was like, you're trying to make these...
So now you're chasing it.
Chasing it. And it was, never made a good one again.
Yeah.
All of them were rubbish. Like, there's some that you can't even find on the internet that are rubbish. Because that's where they were chasing money.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for man saying whoever else was doing that. But I remember that time there, it's gonna sound bad, at the time it was very organic. But then it just turned to like, oh yeah, you man gotta make this rhythm to go. And again, you think, like I said, you think you're hood famous, you're making a little P or whatever. Remember, they shut down all our dances.
Yeah.
Radio don't play the music.
Youth centers as
There's
well.
no
shut
streaming.
down, yeah.
There's no like, where were you making P? Really, you're famous and broke. So you make these songs and you're gone and you get to go to Yeovil and you get to go to Dagenham and go to Burnley. You're doing shows every week. Like, who's doing 3 shows a night of these stupid songs? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in the sets, we only had like 2 pop tunes. So we're going there and doing When I'm Here. We're going there and doing Heat Up. And the difference was crazy. We're going there and doing we done Glastonbury, we come up to When I'm Here. Everyone's looking at us like, what is this?
What is going on here?
And then we done Heat Up, and then we used to end on Good Times or Greenlight, depending. The whole place erupted.
Yeah, Dizzy said something similar. Like, whenever he performs at places like Glastonbury and Reading, he's not going to perform stuff from Boy in the Corner. He's going to perform stuff that moves the crowd, and therefore he has to make music like Bonkers and Dance With Me.
We went
to do that.
We went to Dizzy's show the other day, the Boy in the Corner show. Obviously, like I said, I think that's my favourite album of all time. No, it is my favourite album of all time. When he done the album start to finish, in it. But we was in a section and they didn't know the album, you know.
Bro, it was the same for
Yeah,
the 10 year as
Remy
well. It
went
was the
as
same
well,
for the 10
yeah.
year as well. We went to
Yeah,
the 10 year Copper Box.
Oh,
It was the
yeah,
same thing.
They didn't know.
Absolutely.
Like, not the majority, you know what I'm saying? But then when he obviously done Just a Rascal, I Love You, they knew that.
But
When he done Bonkers and what's the one? Big Dirty Stinking Bass. Eruptions. I was like, wow. But I'm still happy because I got to see, I've never stood up for a whole concert the whole time. Like, and I didn't sit down, nothing. I was going. That's my favourite. So I was so happy to see that. You know what I mean? And he done an amazing show. That Boy in the Corner show was crazy. But you do see the difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so let's not pretend. It's not like America where you could just live off this one thing and be like, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not that, unfortunately. It's not that. What is kind of it now? I guess because, like I said, I keep using Central C as an example, yeah. Central could do his songs. Dave can do his songs. Stormzy can do whatever songs he wants to make. They get to the people, bro. Like they're not trying to make a rhythm. They make the rhythm, and here you go. And now they got a way to get it out there. I guess if Roll Deep, like, let's say early Grime, if they were streaming the internet when it was that time there instead of pirate radio, there would be a lot more millionaires.
But did you have to go through that for them to be what they are now?
Of course,
Yeah.
but
That's how it goes.
some man are bitter about that. Like, we had to do this. No, bro, like that's just what it was. Do you know what I mean? It just was that. Like, and then there'll be someone. We thought Tiny Temper was top. Yeah. I know Central C's made more money and got more streams and then Tiny Temper. Do you know what I mean? And that's not disrespecting because it's meant to go like that.
Yeah.
And I know, it was like Tiny, the Stormzy, and then that Central, and there'll be someone else in 3 years.
Yeah.
There's gonna be someone else even more. They're gonna be like completely even though the Central's worldwide, but they're gonna have it. It's gonna be bigger than that. It's always gonna be that. Do you know what I mean? Like Drake's made more money than Run DMC. You know what I mean? No, they're not going, oh well, we have to do hippity hop. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. I don't think so.
Melly Mel does.
Huh?
Melly Mel does.
Yeah, he's upset, innit?
He stay upset.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
upset.
Yeah, because you could be like that. I understand why a certain man is sour, but I don't know, what does that solve, man? Do you
It's
know
just
what I
a
mean?
natural evolution of.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. Like, you just embrace them, man. Like, I'm not gonna have as big a song as Central C, bruv, ever, if I'm being real. But I can still make a living
Yeah.
and buy crepes and jumpers and that.
But at the time, when there was that shift to making more of the electro pop, and you were seeing all of these artists doing it, like generally, like what was the feeling? Was it a feeling of necessity that they had to do it, or was it a thing of like you're abandoning grime?
I think it was a necessity thing. I think a lot of men done it to make P. But again, grime was still being made because that's when who was after that? Like when that was going on, like Spooky was going a lot of, like Mode FM was going on a lot. Cozzy, P Money
Yeah,
was
P
coming
Money
up.
was
Like,
doing
like there was a lot of, like, obviously P Money been around for longer than that, but
Jamie
like
still,
that's when
Jamie.
Jamie still, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There was people still doing it. So even though we had, obviously Grime's young, even though we had certain man doing that, like I said, us as I was included, there were still people still doing it. But again, it just was harder for it to get out. Like them time that you had to be on radio, you had to be a thing, like, to get your music heard by people, and that's all they were accepting. If radio said we're playing this, like, see, like now, I think they're playing what's that thing we just heard Target say, Jersey Club. They're gonna try to make sure that's the thing. Like that's why I like, see, like Afro House and Afro
Beats.
Afrobeat, yeah. So like they've made sure, obviously it's from the massive continent of Africa, but they're making sure, yo, this thing is here to stay. Like we've got our own charts, we've got our own artists, we've got our own thing.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that structure, which Grime doesn't, we have to rely on what they're saying, kind of. I'm saying, obviously you can speak to a couple people, but if radio said, like, we're not really playing Grime, we're more focusing on UK rap.
Yeah.
We're focusing on like DBE, Nave Smalls, that's what we're just playing. Like Tiffany Cowell, for example. She says that's what we're playing now, that's the style that's in. Then what? Me sending out my Grime song is air.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when it was shut down and Man Not Care and German Whip, it was scrambling.
The resurgence.
What?
Yeah.
You know how much bookings I got? And I don't even have one of them songs because that was just like, oh, we need some Grime. Grime week on one extra. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just that.
It's the cycles, and that's very important. That's what a lot of people don't really understand about grime as well. Especially when they start saying that it's dead, they don't understand that it's never really had much of a structure or infrastructure.
No, there's no structure to it. Zero structure to it, and it just, it's own. Not saying it's dead, but it just needs to have a new youth come through, and the old is not burn out the youth. Like, so we've had resurgence. We had AJ Tracy. We've had Stormzy. I'd even say we've had Dave, because when he was doing his first thing with AJ, that was thing, but. Again, the Grime purists are like, that's not the real Grime. You lot weren't there from the start.
That's
so obviously they're gonna say, well, bun you, man. I'm not gonna rep this thing that don't even like me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we would have embraced Stormzy as a Grime artist, Grime would be way more worldwide. AJ Tracy, even H was doing Grime before.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah, I don't really like Grime. Fair enough, because man are saying you're not this. We got Bugsy Malone. We've actually got Big Nasty on TV.
Yeah.
We got Big Zoo on TV.
Yeah.
But man, not say that's a thing. Like, where these man come from? Where's Skepta from?
Yeah.
Man, I'm mad, man.
So who's the last Grime man that we put our arm around and like was propelled by that?
Stormzy.
What, Chip?
Chip was before Stormzy.
Chip was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Actually,
Yeah, Stormzy. It's definitely Stormzy. Stormzy made his name off grime.
Yeah.
It's only after he kind of blew.
Chip was before. Chip was before.
Yeah,
Chip,
definitely. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Chip's been around for a long time. But Stormzy was. But then again, like I said, man will say, oh, he's not really a thing. Shut up, man. Shut up, bro.
So
you
always gonna have
you
them.
wanted to go back to Deja Vu, bro. He can't. I haven't been on Deja Vu. It doesn't exist. You was on the roof with Crazy Titch. No, he wasn't. He was
probably
6.
wasn't-
8
Yeah,
years
exactly.
old.
Yeah.
He can't be. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like people are always gonna be like that. You're always gonna have the.
I know,
old
but
heads.
it's
You're always
arting-
gonna have the.
It's the generational
Oh,
gap, man.
you weren't there.
Yeah, but our team ain't big enough to do that.
And I agree, but I feel like it's always gonna. The you weren't there crowd is always gonna exist.
But saying that, sorry to even cut you off here,
Right.
is that I know youths now that their thing started from JME, and boy better know. Like they're you might there when boy better know when Frisco dropped that thing, like that's their Konnichiwa was their start.
Yeah.
So which them man there like usually, let's say they're 19 now. Like you know what I mean? I remember Konnichiwa, that's what I listened to at school and shut down. That's what made me like Grime. And me, I think, oh my god. You know what I mean? But that's sick.
Yeah.
There's different points. When they're saying, oh, Stormzy, shut up. Again, they don't know the Wicked Skengman 4 was the Jamie beat, which is the Eminem beat.
Yeah.
Which is Shut Up is the XTC, which is from Rough Squad.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about none of that. They just know Stormzy, that bit, Shut Up is sick.
It's a start to it.
Because so you can't say the sound's dead, because when someone makes something interesting and that connects, it goes. Because there's not no bigger song, but Shut Up's a massive song. Big for Your Boots, made by Sparrow, big song. Man Not Care, big song. It's bare, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's bare, but some of the music now today is just not that interesting, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it's not really cutting.
It's not cutting true.
And to your point about us about the scene needing like a new face.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with rap.
Mm.
Jay-Z, Kendrick, Cole and Drake.
Yeah.
You know, Little Baby and whoever else is dominating this
But no, exactly,
generation
but
now.
you're right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It needs that.
You always need
Grime
the
needs
next
that.
bit.
You always need that.
You always need the next bit. Otherwise, it's gonna just done out like, and then it's gonna turn into no disrespect, garage or drum and bass and all stuff. Where it's like you can only if you're
Bitter
not
old
EZ
heads.
or you're not thing.
Why are you
Then,
looking at me for?
I don't know why, but
if you're not one of them, man, you can't cut through.
Yeah.
Then it just dies because when them man go, it's done.
And that's what worries.
You know what I mean?
How have you been able to keep advancing like the sound of grime as well? Because as far as like paying respect to like, you know, where you came from and keeping it current today, like how have you done that?
I'm not really caring about all that, if I'm being honest.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I know who I am, and I'm older, I'm more confident in my music. So, not really caring about, it has to be like this, bruv. Anything I make, bruv, I'm a grime. That's why I love when Jamie's album's called Grime MC. Safe, yes, Grime MC, bro. Like, so even if I make this, that, rare, I'm a grime MC, bro. I'm a grime artist, bro, for anything. So, even if I make a hip-hop tune or thing, bro, I'm coming at it with grime energy and a grime angle. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
If I was worried about, like, more worried about, it has to be this 140 or this whatever rare tear or simpler sing-along bars. Or I can't, like, I'm very personal in my music. If I can't be personal because that's not grime, I'll be done. I'll be bored. What am I talking about? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got stuff I want to say. And I want to show people you can do it in a... That's why I like Novelist. Because he talks about everything in his music. Like himself, his faith, everything. But it's like that. You know what I mean? It's like that. And I think that's what we need more of rather than just generic things. It can't cut through. Because again, if I'm just talking about the time we was on Rinse FM, that is going to connect to 5 people. Or the certain amount of people that are listening to it.
Yeah, I get you, sir.
Whereas, like a song about life or whatever, people hear and understand and feel that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, again, you do have to keep up with the elements. That is the hard part. Like, I have to go read. I've just done a set before I came here. Do you know what I mean? I've done a set today. Like, it sounds mad, but that ability of saying, let's go do a set, I'm going to go and do it now. Do you know what I mean? Let me go read. I'm going to go do it now. That's why I say grind's a bit harder, because you do have to keep up all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to go to when I go to a rave, I have to go and dump out the rave now. If it's gone, if I go to a rave, I have to go radio and I have to do music. Do you know what I mean? If I just had to focus on making a song, it'd be a lot easier.